Yes, peace and love, wonderful Black Code family. Welcome to the Swahili classes for the weekend. I do hope that you're doing wonderful. Being on the 24th day of the month of May, the year 2026. I want to welcome you so much to this particular platform on this particular episode where we get together and connect and learn Swahili as a family. Remember, we have been doing this for quite a while now, and you've been with us along the journey. I do hope that you have actually gained some understanding of this beautiful language of Swahili. There are many languages on the African continent, about 1,500 languages on the African continent. I always do say that if you to go to Ethiopia, you would encounter about 81 different languages. If you to come to Kenya, about 47 different languages. If you to head down to South Africa, there are so many languages as well. And if you combine all these languages, there are over 1,500 languages on the African continent. I think I always joke that I believe Nigeria has the most languages, close to 200 languages in Nigeria. We know the likes of Igbo, we know the likes of Fulani, we know the likes and other different languages right there. But we have chosen Swahili simply because Swahili is relatively easier to learn. And we have chosen Swahili also because we believe that this is the language that can connect us as an African people. And therefore, if you are on this platform, feel in the right place. And we do say karibu for welcome. And when I do say karibu sana, this is just an emphasis of you are much welcome. If you have a question at any particular point, you can interject and ask a question or make an observation or maybe just an opinion or a view regarding anything that we get to learn right here on this particular platform. My name is Pikes, and in case you want to get a copy of our notes, because we do have our Swahili class notes, feel free to reach out. You can write to blackhotfireafrica@gmail.com. And once you do so, I will be able to share with you some of these, to share with you the notes. You realize that the language of Swahili is quite old. It is actually an original language which has Arabic influences. So if you're talking about these beautiful language, mainly spoken and has grown from the East African coast, parts such as Mombasa and this East African coast region, you realize that this language has five vowels, and that is, the basic part of a language, the vowels and the consonants. And these five vowels, the R is, we do have the vowel R, the vowel E, the vowel E, the vowel O, and the vowel U. These are the five vowels in Swahili. Apart from that, you have the consonants. So you move from the vowels, go to the consonants. The consonants constitute all the letters of the English alphabet, apart from these five vowels that I've mentioned, and apart from X and Q. I've always reminded us that we do not have the X and Q in the Swahili language. So our objective on this particular platform is just to help you as a learner to understand and to just learn and appreciate the Swahili language, because you might want to understand and learn the language, because this is you have plans to travel, for business, for leisure, for other, just for reconnecting with your roots. If you're looking into this particular language, realize that it is a language of commerce in East Africa. If you go to Tanzania, this is a language of instruction, even in classes. If you study in chemistry or geography or sciences, you do realize that these are taught in the Swahili language in Tanzania. If you come to Kenya, this is the national, and this is the national language in Kenya. So if you're going perhaps to a government office and you wanted some request, or you're making some request in that particular office, then you can communicate in Swahili because it is the official, the national language in Kenya. If you go to Uganda, Swahili is also very widely spoken, and therefore you would be in the right, you would be very knowledgeable and easy. You are able to communicate easier through this Swahili language. Another objective for this particular platform is just engaging the learner in exploring different ways in which the Swahili language is developing. We know that any language is not static. A language grows, new words come in and other words maybe perhaps are phased out. But language is also very dynamic. Language is not static. And that is why we're trying to help you understand the different ways in which the language is developing. Apart from that, we also help you, the learner, to achieve basic communication skills using Swahili. In our previous class, we were learning about phrases and words in different contexts. For example, if you went into a hotel and you're trying to have some food, you would say ningetaka kuagiza chakula. Ningetaka kuagiza chakula. Ningetaka, we have used this particular phrase and it means I want, I want. So it says ningetaka kuagiza. Agiza means to order. Agiza, A-G-I-Z-A, agiza. So we have been learning about different phrases and words in different contexts. We were talking about the context, for example, in a hotel, for example, the context in a hospital, for example, the context in a school, maybe perhaps a context in a convenience store. We were learning that in our previous class, and we did say that maybe perhaps even when it comes to a home setting and you're knocking on someone's door and you said hodi, this is like a verbal knock. You said hodi, and now they will open up the door and they would say karibu. They would say karibu, which means welcome, and then they would say njoo ndani, which means welcome inside or get inside, and then they would say karibu kiti, which is welcome, have a seat. That is how it would go. But nonetheless, another objective for this particular platform, which we have every weekend, is to help you, the learner, achieve basic communication skills. I think I've already mentioned that, and also to teach spoken Swahili to beginners and fine-tune skills for those that have already interacted with these beautiful Swahili language before. We have the 5 vowels that I've mentioned them. And these vowels, let me just put them down. I would put them down to help you understand or to help you grasp what it is that we are talking about. So we would have these 5 vowels, the vowels here. That is A, E, O, U. These are the 5 vowels, the A, E, O, U. And these vowels, what you realize is that these are the English letters, the letters of the English alphabet. We're talking about the letter A. We're talking about the letter E. We are talking about the letter O. Sorry, I think we had a bit of an audio in the background. Sorry about that. But I was just saying that we do have the 5 vowels in Swahili, and these vowels are the vowel A, the vowel E, the vowel E, the vowel O, and the vowel U. Those are the 5 vowels in Swahili. And let me just see if you can get me clear in a second. Let me confirm that our audio is well audible. Let me just confirm that because there was a bit of a problem right there. But let me see. Let me confirm that. Swahili actually is a very, very beautiful language, and one of the languages that are quite easy to learn and quite easy to understand. That is why I do believe if you're looking for an African language that you would like to learn, and maybe perhaps you want to reconnect with your roots, then Swahili is that language for you. On the 17th of July, every year there is a day to mark the significance of the language, the Swahili language, and it is marked. It has been set aside by, I believe, the UNESCO to be, to be a day for people to understand or to just reflect on the significance of the language. And I was just saying that the language has grown over the years. The language has grown, and what you realize is that more people are now speaking the language, and that makes it more prolific. If you look at the numbers of people that were speaking or communicating with the language before, and now the number of people, the number keeps on growing. If you go to a country such as Somalia quite recently introduced the language into their classrooms. So therefore, if you're thinking about, maybe perhaps even traveling to maybe Somalia. I think our audio is okay. I think our audio is okay. So I was just saying that even if you look into a country such as Somalia, Somalia recently introduced the language, the Swahili language, into their classrooms, and therefore, right now, someone can be able to, students and learners in Somalia can be able to do that. And I think this is in the spirit of regional integration. If you're talking about maybe perhaps people moving around, for reasons of trade and commerce, for reasons for tourism, and just for learning, I think that it's a beautiful thing that we do have Swahili being introduced in Somalia as well. And not just Somalia, I do hope that even for Sudan, I would wish that even Sudan, the Sudanese government or the Sudanese people also did have that interest to introduce Swahili. I've come across Sudanese people in Nairobi and other parts of Kenya, and some of them, their Swahili is very, very impressive, because you do realize that some of them have been here for quite a long time. You would find some people that have come from South Sudan, and they have left Juba, came into Kenya, and have been staying in Nairobi or other different areas, and they have interacted with the people, and they have committed to learning the language. So their Swahili is also quite impressive. You wouldn't even actually know that they are not Kenyans. You would actually think that they are just ordinary Kenyans. Only that the hate will tell you, and they are super melanated, which is a wonderful thing. But the difference, you wouldn't really quite know that they are not even from here. So we continue with our learning of the language. The vowels are A, E, O, U. Those are the 5 vowels in Swahili. And apart from the vowels, we also do have the consonants, and I'm talking about the consonants such as all the letters of the English alphabet. Apart from X and Q, we do have all the letters of the English alphabet apart from X and Q. And X and Q is not repeated many times, and X and Q is not part of the Swahili language. But we also do have the special class of consonants. And the special class of consonants, these are made up of 2 consonants put together. For example, we would have the CH. We would have the CH in the word chakula. We would have the DH in the word dhahabu. We would have the GH in the word garama. We would have the TH in the word, for example, the Luthi. The Luthi simply means third, or the manini simply means 80. So these are some of the special class of consonants, and I've also added the NG with an apostrophe. The NG with an apostrophe is also another special class of consonant, and this is the NG with an apostrophe. Yes, that is the NG with an apostrophe. So this makes up the special class of consonants in the beautiful Swahili language. And these words are thought to have been the words that have Arabic influence from, the origin is they have Arabic influence. So that is why they are a special class of consonants. But I would say that Swahili is predominantly a Bantu language with a bit of Arabic influence. It's not an Arabic language with Bantu influence, it's the other way around. But remember, when we are learning Swahili, it is also important to also look into the grammar, the nouns. For the nouns, we have said that we call them majina, the nouns, all nominal. We have looked into that in our previous classes. We have also talked about the pronouns. These represent the nouns. The pronouns, they are known as viwakilishi. We have also talked about the adverbs. We have also learned about the adjectives. The adjectives in Swahili as well. But our focus in our class for today, we shall be reflecting on or focusing on the pronouns. That is our focus for today. And remember, if you have already learned about the vowels, you have mentioned in our previous class that the vowel U is very, very important in our learning and our understanding of our pronouns in Swahili, simply because the vowel U represents the second person, you. It represents the second person, you. But we shall be getting to understand that even as we proceed with our class for today. If anyone has a question, please ask. Kama uko na swali, tafadhali uliza. it will be important for you to ask any question that you feel is maybe perhaps you'd like addressed. And I'm talking about maybe anything that has to do with the nouns or the pronouns or the Swahili grammar in any regard. I would be more than happy to check into your question and also to regard or to respond to the same. I would be more than happy to also respond to the question. So make sure that you ask, and I'm happy to answer your question. I'm more than glad to answer your question. So keep your question coming, and I will be happy to respond to that particular question. So our focus, that is on pronouns. Our focus will be on pronouns. And let me share my screen here with you. If you can hear me clear, let me know. If you can hear me clear, also you can also let me know. Our pronouns, these are the pronouns. And for the purpose of this particular segment, we learn that we have personal pronouns, we have indefinite pronouns, we have relative pronouns, we have reciprocal pronouns, or what we call reflexive pronouns. And to help you with the Swahili grammar, try to concentrate on the lesson and notice that the pattern occurs each time the word changes its place. Also, don't forget to check the rest of the other lessons that are also listed on Learn Swahili. So welcome to this particular segment. And when we talk about pronouns, learning the Swahili pronouns is very, very vital to the language. The Swahili pronouns include personal pronouns, and they refer to the person speaking. For example, is it the first person? Is it the second person? Is it the first person singular? Is it the first person plural? So these refer to the person speaking, or the person being spoken to, or the person or things being spoken about. You know, the person or things that are being spoken about. We also do have the indefinite pronouns, the relative pronouns. These are if we are looking into the pronouns, if we are looking into the pronouns, which is our focus for today, then you need to understand that you do have the personal pronouns, and these personal pronouns, they are Mimi for I. So, for example, if you wanted to say, I didn't speak, I didn't speak, I didn't speak, then you would say, Mimi sikuongea, Mimi sikuongea. If you're talking about the second person, wewe, we refer to that as, if you're talking about the second person, you know, this is the second person singular, then you would say you. For example, you would say, you didn't speak. you didn't speak, then that would be wewe hukuongea. Wewe hukuongea. So wewe, yeah, it points to someone else, and that is the second person singular, wewe. But if you're talking about he or she, it remains the same. You know, in Swahili, you would say yeye, but yeye is not gender specific. Therefore, you wouldn't know if someone is talking about a he or if someone is talking about a she. So let me put it down here so that maybe perhaps you can understand much better. We are talking about the pronouns, and we are learning about the personal pronouns, the personal pronouns. So the personal pronouns, I have said that you have mimi. Mimi is a first person singular. Mimi is a first person singular. So that would be Mimi is a first person singular. Singular. The first person singular. I didn't see kuongea. It is exactly what you would say. You would say mimi si kuongea. You would actually say mimi si kuongea, and it would be understood that you did not speak. You did not speak. I did. Sorry, it would be understood to be I did not speak. I did not speak. But if someone else is you pointing to someone and you said you did not speak, the you, which is the second person, singular, the second person singular, then that would be you. That would be you. Then you would say wewe. You would say wewe. That would be you would say wewe, wewe. So in that regard, if I was saying that wewe hukuongea, then that would be you did not speak. You did not speak. If you're talking about the second person, let me share these with you again. If you're talking about the second person, this is second person. Let me share with us here. So you're talking about now the second person. The second person is wewe, that is for singular. But if you're talking about the second person plural, that becomes nyinyi. Nyinyi is ninyi or nyinyi. So for example, nyinyi hamkuongea. Nyinyi hamkuongea is you did not speak, but now this is for a group of people, the second person plural. That would be nyinyi. Nyinyi hamkuongea. If you're talking about the third person is him or her, he or she, sorry, that is the third person. The third person becomes yeye. They might not be here, yeye, for the singular. But if you're talking about for the plural, you would say wow. So going back to the previous example, if you're talking about mimi si kuongea, mimi is myself, so I'll say mimi si kuongea, mimi is I, that represents I. So therefore, you might say mimi, mimi si kuongea, That would be I did not speak, because ongea means to speak. Ongea means to speak or to talk. So therefore, you would say mimi si kuongea, If you're talking about now you, the pronoun for you is wewe. So you say wewe hukuongea, then that would be you did not speak. Then that would be you did not speak. Wewe hukuongea, you did not speak. But if you're talking about now, you're talking about we, which is the second person. We would say we did not speak. did not speak. So that would be sisi hatu kuongea. Sisi hatu kuongea. That would be we did not speak. We did not speak. We did not speak. So that is exactly how you would say that we did not speak. So that would be sisi hatu kuongea. Sisi hatu kuongea. Maybe you're trying to say we did not speak about anything. So you would say sisi hatu kuzungumza, or sisi hatu kunena, or sisi hatu kuongea chochote. Chochote simply means anything. Chochote, it simply means anything. And if someone says si kukula chochote, chochote is CHO again, and TE, chochote. If someone says sijakula chochote, remember when you're talking about the C, the SI in Swahili, the SI is just it's a syllable. It is used to negate a verb. So if someone says si kula or sitakula, si kula means I did not eat. Sitakula, it would mean I will not eat. But nonetheless, that is a bit of a division. I don't want to go to that particular path. We are just talking about the pronouns. And for the pronouns, once again, for I, you would say mimi, mimi. And we are using the word ongea to display or to give an example. Ongea simply means speak. So if someone says mimi sitaongea, it means I will not speak. I will not speak. But if someone says mimi nitaongea, it means I will speak. So mimi is representative of I, and that is a first person singular. First person singular. If we are talking about the first person plural, we do say sisi, sisi. So therefore, someone would say sisi hatutaongea, sisi hatutaongea, and that would be like we shall not speak, we shall not speak. And it's not difficult. It's not difficult. So sisi is for we. Sisi is basically for we. It's basically for we. So therefore, if someone says we want food, we want food, we want food, then you would say sisi tunataka chakula. We want food. We want food. Then that would be sisi tunataka chakula. Sisi tunataka chakula, which is we want food. We want food. If someone says sisi tunataka maji, it would mean for maji means water. Maji simply means water. So therefore, if someone says we want water, therefore that would be sisi tunataka maji. Sisi tunataka maji. And if someone says we want clothing, we want clothing, then that would be sisi tunataka mavazi. Mavazi simply means clothing. Mavazi, it simply means clothing. So if someone is talking about they want clothing, then they would say sisi, which is we. Tunataka is we want clothing. Sisi tunataka mavazi bora. If someone says they want better clothes, then bora can be used to represent that. They can be used to represent that. Someone says we want tunataka chakula bora, then that would be we want better food. Someone says tunataka mavazi bora, it means we want good or better this and that. After a particular point, if anyone has a question, tafadhali uliza. If you have a question, please ask. I would love to respond to your question. It would be anything to do with these pronouns, like I did to the first person singular, which is I or mimi. The first person plural, which is sisi or we. And then you have the second person. The second person is you. Then that would be wewe. That is wewe. So says wewe unataka chakula, wewe unataka chakula, then that would be you want food. You, which is second person, you want food. That is how you represent it, and it's not difficult. what you realize is that you just need to keep on practicing and practicing. I always do say that practice makes perfect. The more you practice, the easier it becomes, and you can always feel free to connect. To practice with your friends, with your colleagues, with your family, and you can keep on learning and getting better at the language. So yes, those are the first person is mimi or I. It is the first person singular. The first person plural is sisi or we. And then the second person is wewe or you. Wewe or you. And if you're talking about now the second person in plural, you would say nyinyi or nini. Nyinyi or nini. For the third person, that is he or she, it does not change. It still remains to be yeye. Yeye. For example, if you do say yeye anataka chakula, yeye anataka chakula, then that would be he or she wants food. He or she wants food. And also, they are what we call, whatever we just talked about, these, the above are called free pronouns. They are known as free pronouns, but they are also bound or indirect pronouns used in the section of negation for the same. For example, if you talk about the first person singular, we do say ni. This is now the indirect pronoun or the bound pronoun. We do say ni to represent I. To ni to represent I. For example, you would say ni nataka chakula, then that would be I want food. That is for now. Ni would still represent the first person singular. Ni, I. I is representative. Ni is representative of I. For example, you might say ni naenda, ni naenda. That means I am going. I am going. But for the first person plural, we do use the syllable to. The syllable to means we. Syllable to, it means we. So therefore, you would say we are going. That would be tu naenda. Tu naenda. For the second person, we do say u, like in the vowel, the Swahili vowel u. So you say u, for example, in the word u naenda, that will mean you are going. You are going. But now for the second person plural, you'd use the consonant m. You would say naenda, that is for the plural. It would mean that you are going, but this is the you for the plural sense of it. For the third person, we do use the vowel a. The vowel a represents the third person. For example, a naenda shule, it means he or she is going. He or she is going. But if you're talking about now the third person in the plural, the third person in the plural, then you would say wa naenda. The syllable wa represents the third person in the plural, the third person in the plural. Up to that particular point, I do not know if you are together. Up to that particular point, please let me know if we are together so that I can be able to understand that we are on the same page. Remember, we do have the official network website. It's www.black.firenetwork.com. And in case you haven't checked it out, please make sure you do. If you haven't, please make sure you do. We do have a wonderful page right here. For example, even with wonderful information. For example, this is a blog article about Taubira. And this is a woman that did play her part in terms of legislation. Her name is Christiane Taubira. And she was representing Fred's Guyana. And there was a law that is named after her, which is a law that fundamentally shifted how French Republic confronts its colonial past. We do know that even for through slavery, there was a retribution for the European, the slave masters that owned the slaves, and they were paid because of losing their property when slavery was abolished, but there wasn't any compensation to the slaves themselves. And this Taubira law, it also gets to focus or encompass that particular past where there was no formal acceptance of slavery as a crime against humanity until, in 2001. But even apart from acceptance, liability and compensation hasn't happened. So you might have very nice bills or very nice laws, but that is, something that is supposed to happen hasn't happened yet. But nonetheless, this is a Swahili class for the weekend, being on the 24th of May, the year 2026. In Swahili, we do say karibu. Karibu simply means you are welcome. You are much welcome. So if someone says karibu sana, it means you are very much welcome to wherever they are. But yes, we go back to our learning of pronouns, and pronouns are notificat. I have talked about the bound or indirect pronouns. And these indirect pronouns, we have the first person, which is ni, the syllable ni for the first person singular. So if someone says ninataka chakula, it's understood to be I want food. It's understood to be I want food. If someone says ninataka pesa is understood to be I want money. I want money. Ninataka pesa. It's understood to be I want money. If someone says ninataka mavazi, then that would be understood to be I want clothing. I want clothes or I want clothing. If someone says ninataka simu mpya, then that would be I want a new phone. I want a new phone. Mpya is an adjective. It represents new. So if you're talking about simu mpya, it means a new phone. If you're talking about mavazi mpya, it means new clothing. If you're talking about nyumba mpya, nyumba is only word for the house. Nyumba. Nyumba is for house. If someone says nitajenga nyumba mpya, it means I will build a new house. I will build a new house. If someone says nitatembea mjini, then that would mean I will go to the city. So for the first person, in the bound pronouns, we do use the syllable ni for I, the first person. If you're talking about the first person plural, you would say tu. You use the syllable tu to represent the first person plural. So you would say tu tajenga nyumba mpya, tu taenda nyumbani, tu tatembea mjini, and that is how you get to distinguish between those two. Tu, it means we, but ni, it means I. Ni would mean I, which is ni, it would mean I. It would mean I. So if you're talking about ni chakula, it means I will eat food. If you say tu chakula, then it would mean we shall eat food. We shall eat food. If you're talking about we are going to school, we would say tu naenda shuleni, for we are going to school. We are going to school. Once again, let me repeat that we do have the official network website. It's www.blackcoatfanetwork.com. And in case you haven't checked it out, please make sure you do, and also make sure that you are also turning on the notifications. Please make sure that you turn on the notifications so that anytime there is something happening, then you are actually alerted, and that you are also in the know. In case you wish to maybe perhaps support the network, you can actually go ahead and do so. And you can do that by clicking on this tab here, which is donate to the Black community, Black Cultural Network community, with whatever amount, $5, $10, $25, $30, $50, $100, or any other custom amount that you wish. We also do have the social community on this particular network. So you can always visit, click on this social community. And once you do, you are able to see what's going on with the social community on there as well. And you can also be able to find out what is going on with news, with updates. You can also be able to buy and patronize the platform simply by clicking on the apparel store, or you can also click on the sports store. And once you click on these stores, they will take you to a catalog of items that are available on the network. And you can buy, the well-priced commodities or items on the platform. In case you wanted to know more, you can click on about and know more about the Black Cultural Network and how to get involved. And in case you wanted to get contact, direct contact you can always click on contact us, and that will actually help you also get in touch with the network. You can always listen to the live radio, wonderful music, R&B, some old school hits, and everything else in between. That is available on the network. So you can always find those particular resources, and you can be able to enjoy in a wonderful way. So we have used examples above because we are learning Swahili pronouns. This is what we are learning, the Swahili pronouns. And now we have said that if you're talking about the personal pronouns, we do have the I, which is mimi, for the first person singular. And you're talking about the first person singular. And if you're talking about the first person plural, then you would say wewe. Wewe. You would actually say wewe. Sorry. Yes, you would say for the first person, you would say sisi. You wouldn't say well, you actually say sisi. So mimi is for I myself. Sisi is for we. Sisi is for we. And the second person, you would say wewe for the second person singular, and then you would say nini for the second person plural. For the third person, it doesn't change. It remains to be yeye. It remains to be yeye, regardless of the gender. I was just saying that it's not gender specific, so it would remain to be yeye. It would remain to be yeye. After a particular point, if you have a question, please ask. Kama uko na swali, tafadhali uliza. If you do have a question, please ask. I will be more than glad to respond to your question. Would actually be more than glad to respond to your question regarding the pronouns that we have talked about on that particular link. It would actually be good if you to have a question, and you can ask, and I will be more than glad to respond to your question regarding any of the pronouns, because we have said for the pronouns mimi is for I, and if we're talking about we would say sisi. Sisi tunapenda chakula, that would be we love food. Sisi tunatembea mjini, which is we are visiting the city. Sisi tunapika chakula, then that would be we are cooking food. Sisi tunaongea pole pole, that means we are speaking slowly. Sisi tunaenda msikitini, then that would be we are going to the mosque. Sisi tunaimba nyimbo nzuri, then that would be we are singing good songs. So sisi represents we. Sisi represents we. Someone says sisi ni wageni kutoka mjini, then that would be we are visitors from the city. We are visitors from the city. So if anyone has a question after a particular point regarding how you phrase these particular pronouns, you can ask, and I'm more than happy to respond to your questions regarding anything that has to do with the pronouns or the understanding of these particular pronouns, because pronouns are also very important because they represent, their work is to represent the nouns. So they represent the nouns, and that is their work. Their work is really just to represent the nouns. We do have the second segment, and we are talking about possessive pronouns. Possessive pronouns. The possessive pronouns in Swahili, they have no feminine or masculine aspect. They do not have feminine or masculine aspect, and they depend mainly on the pronouns and the noun classes. Sorry, the noun classes that they represent. So the roots are, for the first person, we do have the root being angu. Angu. For example, you're talking about mine. They are possessive. So you're talking about mine. If you're talking about mine and you want to show the connection or the relationship and all the ownership, then you would say angu, that is the root. For example, you are talking about chakula changu. Chakula changu, that would be my food. My food. But if you're talking about now the plural, the root is etu. You would say chakula chetu. Chakula chetu is our food. Chakula chetu shows ours. This is the plural form. So then you would say chakula chetu. For example, if you say hii ni simu yangu, hii ni simu yangu, simu yangu would be my phone. Simu yangu, does it jointly, then that would be simu yetu. simu yetu. And that is the first person is angu, that is a root, and for the plural it becomes etu. But if you're talking about the second person, we do say ako as the root. Ako, ako, that is the root for yours in the singular form. But if you're talking about yours in the plural form, then the root is enu. For example, you're talking about simu yako, then that is your phone. Simu yako is your phone, because yako, that is the pronoun there, and the root is ako. That is for the singular. But if you're talking about the plural, then you would say simu yenu, because that is your phone. That is your phone, simu yenu. If we're talking about now the third person, for the third person, we do say ake, and ake is for his or hers. For example, simu yake. And if you're talking about now the plural form of the third person in the possessive nouns, you would say ao, ao, then that would be simu yao. It means their phone, and that is exactly how you represent and use those particular words. And it's not any difficult. It's actually very, very easy. What you need to do is keep on practicing, keep on getting better at the language, and also keep engaging others in your journey of learning this beautiful language. It's always a delight to have you tune in. So in case you do have a question, please ask. Kama uko na swali, tafadhali uliza. But if there isn't any question, then it's always good to also maybe even give a review, or even give a feedback in terms of just your opinion regarding the language, and why maybe perhaps it is that you have an interest in this beautiful language of Swahili. For me, I always do say that it is one of the easiest languages to learn. If you're looking for a very, very easy and a friendly language to learn, then I think if you focus on Swahili, you're actually in the right place. And that is my hope, that you choose Swahili over all these other different languages. There are about 2,000 of them. But for the sake of an easy and a very, very friendly language, please pick on Swahili. The pronouns, they represent the nouns, and therefore we would say they are viwakilishi. They are known as viwakilishi. The pronouns are known as viwakilishi. If we talk about the more examples, like on this tabular format, we would say that the nouns, we do have I, represented as mimi. You, it's represented by wewe. He is represented by yeye. She is represented by yeye. We is represented by sisi. They is represented by wow. And now if you're talking about I, once again, I, you would say mimi. If you're talking about you, you would say wewe. If you're talking about him, you would say yeye. If you're talking about her, you also still say yeye. If you're talking about us, you would say sisi. If you're talking about them, you would say wow. And then we do have the possessive ones. If it's mine, we would say yangu for mine, belongs to myself, either first person singular. If it belongs to you, the second person, then you would say yako. For example, simu yako. If you're talking about my phone, I would say simu yangu. If you're talking about their phone, you would say simu yao, because simu represents a phone, and then you're talking about their phone. This is possessive, and it belongs to them. You would say simu yao. But if you're talking about maybe ours, you would say yetu, simu yetu, because that is our phone. That is our phone. If it's their phone, you would say simu yao, and it's not any difficult. We do have a list of pronouns in Swahili, and below is a list of personal pronouns, indefinite and relative pronouns in Swahili, placed in a table. Memorizing this table will help you add a very useful and important words to your Swahili vocabulary. For example, you might say I speak. I speak in Swahili translates to ni nasema, because the I it is translated to ni, I, ni. So if someone says ni nasema, it is I speak. If you do say you speak, you would say u nasema, u, because u represents the you. U nasema. If you do say he speaks, then that will be anasema. For he speaks, then that will be anasema. If you did say she speaks, then that would be anasema. So you realize that in this example, the he speaks or she speaks, it is translated into the same thing, anasema, anasema. If we are talking about we speak, then you would say tu nasema, because the two represents the we. Two, the syllable two, it represents we. So we speak, we would say tu nasema, or tu naongea, because ongea also means to speak, or nena also means to speak. If you're talking about they speak, then you would say wa nasema, because the wa points to they, the points to they, the wa points to they. And then if you're talking about now these more examples, give me, you would say nipe, give you, you would say upewe, give him, you would say mpe, give us, you would say tupe, give them, you would say wape, wape, wape. And then I will do the possessive ones used in an example, and this is how they apply. For example, my book, you would say kitabu changu, that is for my book. If you're talking about your book, you would say kitabu chako. If you're talking about his book, you would say kitabu chake. If you're talking about her book, his and hers, it does not, they do not have a masculine aspect, so you wouldn't quite know. And if you're talking about their book, you would say kitabu chao, because that is what it is. And in Swahili, we have noted that we do not have what are they called? The articles. We do not have the articles in Swahili, and therefore you cannot say like the spoon. If you like in English, in English you do have the particular articles there, or are. For example, a spoon, or the spoon, or the man. In Swahili, we do not have the articles. So you would say, for example, the man, you still say ule mwanaume or yule mwanaume. But the article there, it does not exist. Or the article it does not exist. And therefore, it's just, these just definitive words, and we do not have the articles to precede or to act as a prefix for the noun. Do not say the man, you say yule mzee. You might say yule mzee. But yule is not an article. Yule is not really an article. Anyhow, if you do have a question, please ask. Kama uko na swali, tafadhali uliza. I would be happy to respond to any question that you might have in regards to our pronouns for today. We would hope to do more exhaustive sessions, but these exhaustive sessions, they can only be guided by your questions. So if you do have a question, tafadhali uliza. Kama uko na swali, tafadhali is for please, and you have learned about common courtesy words. And one of the most important one is tafadhali. Tafadhali, which simply means please. It simply means please. So tafadhali uliza swali, please ask a question. Please ask a question. If you do not have a question, ni vizuri. If someone says ni vizuri, it means it's good. Ni vizuri, it's okay. It's good, it's fine. It's fine. If you don't have a question, ni vizuri bado. Bado means still. S-I-S-T-I-L-L, still. Bado. Ni vizuri bado, it's okay still, or it's fine still. But if you did have a question, I would have been glad to respond to your question regarding anything that we may have learned or anything that we may have touched on when we were learning about these particular pronouns. For this tabular example, this tabular display, this is what you see. Let me show you once again. For our pronouns are here. This is what you see on this particular table. For example, you're talking about their book. There, then the root is ow. So if you're talking about ow, the root is ow for the possessive form. So therefore, you'd say kitabu chao. Kitabu chao is for their book. If it's our book, the possessive pronoun is etu. The root of the possessive pronoun is etu for our book. For her, you would say kitabu chake. For him, you would say kitabu chake as well, because that is a third person, and that is yeye anataka kitabu chake, then that would be he or she wants their book. Wants their book. He or she wants their book. You would say yeye anataka kitabu chake sasa. Then that would be understood to be he or she wants their book now. So yeye, let me put it down here so that I can help explain. Yeye, yeye, then that would be yeye, would be he or she. So if you say yeye anataka kununua kitabu, then that would be he or she wants to buy a book. He or she wants to buy a book. If someone says yeye anarudi nyumbani, then that would be he or she is going back home. If you did say yeye ananunua simu mpya, then that would be he or she is buying a new phone. So he or she is yeye. So in Swahili, we realize that for that particular pronoun, it is not gender, does not have a masculine or feminine aspect. Just that word yeye for the third person, yeye for the third person, and it does not complicate issues. I think it is because for the Bantu man or woman, I think they were taken to be very, very equal and complementary, and that is why he or she remains to be yeye. It does not change. You wouldn't know whether I'm talking about a man or I'm talking about a woman, because that is simply how this beautiful language of Swahili is. If you have a question, please ask. If you have a question, please ask. And it is very, very important. And I think I can also share with you this particular link on the description here, so that you can also maybe refer to the same link, because it has all these examples. And with the examples, you can learn very, very easy. I hope I can also share the same, the notes on the description box after we wind up with this particular video. But I wanted to ask, does anyone have a question? Je, kunaye aliye na swali? Does anyone have a question? Is there anyone that has a question? Because if there is a question, I would like to respond, and I would like to just answer your question. Ningependa kujibu. Ningependa means I would like. Ningependa is a phrase. The ni is for I. Ningependa is I would like. I would like or love. I would like or love. Ningependa, that is I would like or I would love. So ningependa is I would like or I would love. Ningependa kujibu swali lako, and that would be I would like to answer your question regarding any of the pronouns. Kuhusu. Kuhusu is a word which means regarding. Kuhusu, it means regarding. It means regarding. It means regarding. It means regarding any of the question that has to do kuhusu. Viwakilishi, because viwakilishi, these are the pronouns, and therefore if you do have any question regarding the pronouns, then I will be more than happy. Ningefurahia sana kujibu swali lako kuhusu viwakilishi. Viwakilishi, then that is the pronouns. And I've said for the first person we do say mimi. For the first person singular, mimi. If we're talking about us, we do say sisi for the first person plural, sisi. You might say sisi tunapenda chakula, and that would be we like food. If you do say sisi tunaongea pole pole, that would be we are speaking slowly. If you do say sisi tu unatembea mjini, it would be we are visiting the city, because mjini is the city. And that is exactly how you get to explain that it is we do say sisi. For I, we do say mimi, M-I-M-I. There was a sister on the network, her name was Mimi. I don't know whatever happened to the sister, but peace and love to her. That was Sister Mimi. But Mimi means I, it means myself, it means I. Or was her name Mimi La or something? Can't remember. But Mimi simply means I. It means I, the first person singular. But the first person plural, we do say sisi, and sisi is for we. If you say we want to order, then that would be tu nataka. Sisi tunataka kuagiza. Sisi tunataka kuagiza chakula. Agiza chakula is order some food. and that is exactly how you would say it, and it's not any difficult. Swahili is quite easy. If you committed your time, I think in about a couple of months, you will be quite ahead in your learning or in your understanding of this beautiful language. If you just committed time and you realize that anything that you want to learn has to be done with practice. So if you practice, then you are able to get perfect and you're able to improve and get better at the language just by that interest of basically just practicing. And the more you practice, the easier or the better it becomes for you in your understanding of this beautiful language of Swahili. My name is Faith. It has been a pleasure. Ni furaha yangu. It is my pleasure. Ni furaha yangu kuwafunza Swahili. It is my pleasure to teach you some Swahili. And in case of anything or any question or any point that you want to bring or make note of, you can write to blackhotfireafrica@gmail.com. Black Hot Fire Africa. Let me just put it down. Black Hot Fire Africa. Black Hot Fire. Black Hot Fire Africa. In case you want the notes or you want to raise anything, Black Hot Fire Africa@gmail.com. And I will be more than glad to share the notes with you or address any concern or any point that you would like to raise that regards our classes for Swahili right here on the platform. Remember to visit the official network website is www.blackhotfirenetwork.com. And once you do, make sure that you turn on the notifications. And there is wonderful music that you can enjoy there. And it's always something important that you get to connect with the rest of the family, because you do say iron sharpens iron, and every moment that you connect, then you're making a meaningful connection when you are on the right network. And this is the Black Hot Fire Network media for the 21st century. Much peace and love. I want to wish you a productive week ahead. Till next time, take care of yourselves, spread love, and stay aware, because it is very important that you stay aware of what is happening in the real world. It's a dangerous place sometimes when you stay ignorant of whatever is going around. It's very important that you still aware, and you are not only reactive, that you stay proactive, because if you stay reactive, then you might end up becoming the victim. But if you're proactive, then you know what's happening, and you're able to make your moves in a calculated and a better way, so that you can prosper in your endeavors, in your ways. I want to wish you a happy and a productive week. We shall catch up next week on Saturday and also on Sunday, because we do these classes on Saturdays and Sundays. And we hope to keep it Black Hot Fire. Till next time, peace and love. I want to say kwaheri. Have a wonderful week ahead. And make sure to spread love and positivity and to take care of yourselves mentally, physically, and also in other ways, spiritually as well. Make sure you do so. And you're keeping positive, keeping healthy, and keeping everything optimistic. Till next time, peace and love. Kwaheri ya kuonana. Kwaheri simply means goodbye. So if someone says kwaheri, they simply mean goodbye. It means goodbye. It means goodbye. Kwaheri simply means goodbye. That is exactly what it means. So if someone says kwaheri ya kuonana, they simply mean goodbye, see you again. So till next time, much peace and love. Kwaheri ya kuonana.